Hey friends, Racheal Cook here, business growth strategist for women entrepreneurs. And I'm so excited to jump on live today, not only on Facebook, but I'm also streaming over on Instagram, because having these open Q&A sessions are one of my favorite things about running my online mastermind Sweet Spot Strategy. If you haven't heard about Sweet Spot Strategy, we just opened the doors to a live round coming up very, very soon, and the doors are only open for a week. We close down in 1 week from today on February 1st. So if you want to learn about how you can work with me, you can head over to yoursweetspotstrategy.com to learn more. So today's open Q&A session is exactly what it sounds like. This is your time to share any questions you might have about how to design a predictably profitable business, because that's what I am all about. I'm all about helping women entrepreneurs learn how to design a predictably profitable business that actually fits our life, because I really feel like a lot of the advice out there isn't geared towards us. It's geared towards people who they don't have families. They don't have other things going on in their life that require their attention. They have 80 hours a week to work. And that's just not the reality for so many women that I talk to. We are also juggling a family. We are also taking care of aging parents. We are trying to squeeze in date nights with our significant other and get out there and take care of our own physical selves. So if that is something that resonates with you and you're struggling in this whole entrepreneurial world, chances are it's because a lot of the stuff out there just isn't designed for people like us. It isn't designed for women who are trying to not only have a beautiful business, but have a beautiful life, right? So I want to jump into some great cues that have already started showing up. And it's pretty simple and straightforward to send a cue to me. All you have to do is type it in the comments below this video. If you are joining me live, hopefully that didn't switch you off. I was trying to get back to my Instagram live and I don't know what it did there. Okay, if you're joining me on Instagram live, you can pop a cue right in the Instagram live. If you're on Facebook, you can pop a cue on the Facebook live. I'm going to do my best to answer from both places. And I'm pretty much an open book. My Sweet Spot strategist will tell you there really is, you can ask me anything about how to run a business and market your business and sell things in your business and how you make it fit into your life. So let's dive into the first question. And this is from Michelle Wood. Hey, Michelle. She asks, can we talk engage strategy? I know there are monthly fees associated with having an opt-in, yet it seems pretty helpful when it comes to getting your freebie out there, capturing contact information and beginning the nurture process. Is having an opt-in a nice to have or a need to have? Full disclosure, my hubby, aka Mr. Practical, says, why would you spend money before you have clients? Ooh, such a good question. And I know so many of you guys have heard this response from people in your lives who are saying, well, why would you spend money on that before you have clients? So many thoughts on that piece too. So let's break this down a little bit for anybody who maybe isn't familiar with the idea of an opt-in. I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page with me and everybody understands what an opt-in means. So if you listened to my master class that I shared this week, I talked about a 5-part marketing strategy, and that 5-part marketing strategy is very straightforward. Attract, engage, nurture, invite, delight. Attract, engage, nurture, invite, delight. So it's exactly what it sounds like. Attract is getting people to your business, through the doors of your business, to your website. Engage is actually getting them to raise their hand and say, hey, I want to learn more about what you're doing to see if you could potentially help me solve my problem. And nurture is following up with them, building that relationship, helping them see that, yes, you are a great source and someone who can really help them with whatever challenge they're having, right? And then invite, straightforward, them becoming a client, delight, taking care of those clients. So let's talk engage, because that's Michelle's question. You ask, there are monthly fees associated with having an opt-in. And here's something I want you to think about. Yes, most services you use to build a list are going to be paid. Okay. Now there are some free ones out there. So free ones you might check out are MailChimp, MailChimp is a great free resource, and you can use that at the beginning when you're just building your business, okay? When you're just growing that email list, when you're just starting to get people into your world. And then as you get the ball rolling, you can upgrade to a different service, something like ConvertKit, which is what we currently use. So generally, these services are going to operate pretty similarly, okay? ConvertKit has some more bells and whistles, but they all allow you to have an email opt-in, okay, and to deliver that. So again, ConvertKit's going to have some more bells and whistles there compared to something like MailChimp. There are other tools out there that allow you to get a little more sophisticated with this. And getting a little bit more sophisticated with this means having a dedicated page on your website. You might hear this called a landing page or a registration page or an opt-in page. And there are tools out there that you can use to build that. Okay. So there's tools out there like Lead Pages is a paid tool. We do not use a paid tool like Lead Pages. We actually build it directly onto our site. So if you go to my website, rachealcook.com, and let's say you go to rachealcook.com/quiz, you want to check out our free quiz. That is built directly into our site. We use a theme called Divi by Elegant Themes, which was a one-time or an annual payment to, get the updates and everything for that theme. But you can make like your own custom templates. So I would say yes, it is going to be super helpful. And the reason it's going to be super helpful to have we call it an irresistible free offer, or I like to call it a pink spoon because it's getting a taste, just like when you go to the ice cream store, it's getting a little taste of what you have to offer, and people can decide whether or not it's for them and if they want the full experience. So it's helpful to have a pink spoon, to have an irresistible free offer, because people are more guarded about their emails than they used to be. So people used to be very open about, yeah, I'll sign up for your newsletter. But how many of you guys just sign up for newsletters randomly? Unless you know it's going to be a really good newsletter, unless you really know that you're going to be getting good information. So having some sort of incentive there for people to opt in will increase the likelihood that people will actually sign up to hear more about what you have to offer. So that's one big thing to consider. If you're going to do all the work to attract new people in your business, putting this one piece of the puzzle in place increases the likelihood that those people are going to take the step you want them to take, which is to engage with you, give you their information so you can continue nurturing their relationship. And I want you to think about how you interact with businesses as well. So this is not exclusive to the online world. This is not exclusive to the online world. If you go shopping, okay, I was just shopping. My twins' birthday is today. So we were out shopping, and I was out shopping for, shoes for them. Are you on our email list? Are the kids part of the birthday club? They want that contact information so that they can send us updates and let us know when new things are in style, when the latest things are out. And they incentivize us by saying, hey, are you in our birthday club, so that they get a discount on their birthday? Are you, do you want a free 10% for signing up for our email list? So you'll see that across a lot of stores, retail stores, online retail stores, and you'll also see it across a lot of service-based business owners who want to give people that little taste, that little experience of what they have to offer. So yes, it is hugely valuable. I would say for my business and the way I like to work, I would say it's a requirement. It's not a nice to have. This is a need to have, because of all the people I talk to. The biggest business regret I hear from entrepreneurs is they wish they would have started building that database sooner. They wish they would have started to build that database sooner, because here's what happens. We all are able to start our business by referral and by networking and by getting out there and pounding the pavement and having a lot of FaceTime and having a lot of conversations. But there comes a point where it's really hard to grow at all when you are depending on that strategy. It is incredibly difficult. It is a lot easier to grow when you start putting leverage into your business and leverage into your marketing. So this is one little piece that even if you're at the very beginning of your journey, you're just getting started getting clients, you can put in place. And it is out there, collecting business cards on your behalf. You don't have to attend all the networking events in the world. You just have to have this one piece of the place. The other thing I really love, and this is one reason I would actually encourage you to check out paying for an email service provider, because then you'll be able to have access to tools or to things that allow you to automatically email people. And I like to call this a welcome series to your email opt-in. They opted in for, okay? They opted in for your free thing. Maybe it was a video or an audio or a little ebook or a guide or something. Then you want to welcome them into your business and kind of let them know what you have. Imagine like if you're going into a high-end boutique, someone walks through the door, the first thing they do is ask, hey, how are you? What are you looking for today? We have in our selection this, this, and this. Like they're going to help you find what you need. And those welcome emails are a great opportunity to share your best content, to share your best stuff, and also invite them to take a step forward. So they've already raised their hand. And now it's kind of like, again, if you're in a boutique, you could say, would you like to try that on? Cool. Here's how you can book a free session with me. And this becomes a great way to start building those client bases very quickly, because that welcome series is inviting people to try it on, inviting people to take that next step. Now, not everybody's going to take that next step right away. Some people like to browse, they like to walk around and touch everything and feel everything. Same thing online. Some people are going to want to do that. They're going to want to check out your blogs and they're going to follow up with you. And that's fine. Like they need a little bit more time to be nurtured. And that's why nurture is a big part of the way I teach marketing, because some people will take a while. They will take a couple of weeks or a couple of months to warm up to you. And then you invite them to have that next step, that free session, or to join you in some program or service that you're offering. So yes, it is a must-have in my opinion. It is one thing where if you're investing in your business, and especially when you're just getting started, I am a big believer in bootstrapping businesses. I did not invest a ton of money into my business when I got started. I'm so thankful and grateful that we are at a time where you can start a business really inexpensively. And I would say at this point, you can get so many great tools that are just going to make your life a lot easier for under $500 that first year. A mail system is one, a great email marketing system, a basic, like a starter website. Even if you build it yourself, go on like Squarespace or something, not expensive, get your domain, get your hosting, some basic stuff, it's not going to cost you a whole lot of money. And just imagine like, okay, you might put a couple $100s into starting your business, but all you need is one client to book with you and you've more than recouped that investment. And that's something you need to think about. Every time you're investing in your business, it's going to come back to you once those clients book you. But it's very difficult to get your business up and running if you are relying 100% on just getting out there and meeting people and shaking hands. Like that can happen. I've seen it happen for a lot of people, but why not kind of position yourself as a professional with some of these tools in place? So I hope that helps. Shaw just said MailerLite is free and has a landing page as well. So yeah, there's plenty of great free tools out there. You don't have to overinvest into that. Again, if you are joining me on Facebook, this is our live Q&A jam sesh. So make sure you pop your Qs in for me. I'm going to scroll here and check my Instagram because we're also live on Instagram. I don't see any Instagram Qs. But hopefully that helps anybody who's in those startup stages. If you're in the startup stage of your business, it's okay to invest a little bit. I would rather you invest on some of these foundational things and get the starter versions. And know, like, you can get fancy and upgrade later. That's kind of my motto for business. Start simple, get fancy and upgrade later. Okay. This question came in and I absolutely loved it, from Amanda. And she said, I'd like to know if you plan your family life the way you do your business. I feel like I'm getting out there on the business front and then everything kid related is frantic again. Any tips would be fab. So I'd love to hear what other mamas out there are like struggling with this, juggling a business, raising a family, running your household, like everything that goes into be a working mom. Yeah, I'm right there with you. So today's the twins' 8th birthday. They are 8 years old today. And I actually started my business right before I found out I got pregnant with them. I was about 6 months into my business when I discovered I was pregnant, and it was a shock to the system. Let me tell you, I did not plan that, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend that order either. But here's one thing having twins really drove home for me. One, anybody who's had multiples, I know a lot of moms of multiples. Funnily enough, I have a lot of moms of multiples who end up working with me, which is kind of hilarious. But when you have not just one baby, but two babies, like, you get laser focused. You have to prioritize. It is not optional. You have to get very clear on what matters and what doesn't matter. And I knew that for my business and for my family, we had to be super clear on what was really important to us. So here's some things we've done over the years. One, we've asked for help. We've asked for help. So I've written a lot about this and talked a lot about this on the family front, because I know this is a big challenge for a lot of new moms, especially like you're trying to figure out, how do I work? And you hear all this stuff about working during nap time, but no, I could never do that. Like, it was too stressful. And when I had two newborn babies, one of them would be napping and one of them would be nursing, and, I'd have to wash the cloth diapers, and there was no like working during nap time. Like, that was a fantasy. That was not going to happen for me. So I had to start asking for help. I had to ask for help in the childcare. I had to ask for help around the house. And that started with a very difficult conversation with my husband, which I know a lot of women struggle with, like getting help from their significant other, from their partner. But if they help to make those babies, they can help take care of them. If they live in that house, they can help take care of it. So I realized really quickly that I could not be solely responsible for running the whole house. I could not be solely responsible for the kids on my own and trying to build my business on this side. So we actually had to break out like whose job is what. He started taking over laundry. He started taking over cooking a few nights a week. And he made sure, because he was teaching middle school English at the time, that he could be home at 3:00 on the dot so that I could see clients from about 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 every afternoon. Thankfully, I'm on Eastern time. So if my clients ended up on the other coasts, they were like a little bit behind me, and it didn't affect them that I was pretty much working in my afternoon or evening. So that was the first thing. Like, yes, I started asking for help, and I started with my husband. Then we started getting paid help around the house. It started with hiring a babysitter. And I actually had another twin mom friend. Her twins were born a year after mine, and she needed to go back to work, and she messaged me and she said, "Hey, Rach, do you have any great babysitters? I need somebody for about 10 hours a week." And at the time, I only needed somebody for about 20 hours a week. And it's kind of challenging to find like a nanny for those hours. They either want to be full-time or less than that. So we ended up sharing a babysitter for, I think, about a year. Like, the babysitter would spend Monday, Wednesday, Friday with me, and Tuesday, Thursday with her. And it worked great. It was amazing. So we've done the babysitter share. We've done having a part-time nanny who would come at 8 in the morning and stay until noon every single day. And that created a lot of time for me. So getting help was huge. And of course, now that my husband is a full-time stay-at-home dad, like, I have the time the kids are at school, and he runs the house. Like, Jameson really does run the house. I have certain thoughts about how I want the house to be run, but we've come to agreements around how the house is going to run, because that's what adds the most value to our family right now. So another thing that we do running the business and the family similarly is we do a lot of routines around here. And I know every family is very different, but for me and my family, routines are really important. If you have twins, routines save your life. Like, twin newborns, you have to have a routine. You cannot just do it on the fly. You have to be prepared, and you have to think through. Like, a lot of planning goes into day-to-day of having twins. And thankfully, I'm a pretty good planner. So we've always had routines for the family. Everything from, in the morning, I could tell you, and anybody who's, spent the night at my house can tell you exactly how our mornings go down, because they're so similar, morning after morning. And I know this is a stressful time for a lot of families, but I get up earlier than my kids and my husband. I usually get up about a half hour earlier. That's my quiet time. That is me getting my coffee and sitting down and, journaling a little bit, maybe doing a little bit of yoga, but really having a little bit of time to myself first thing in the morning. And then my family gets up. Jameson comes down and makes the kids breakfast. He makes oatmeal every single day. We make oatmeal for the kids. That is their Monday through Friday, same exact breakfast. They can choose what toppings they want, but it streamlines everything. There is no asking what you want. It's you're getting oatmeal. Here's the toppings. Do your toppings. The kids have a checklist. They know what they have to do. The checklist is written in multiple places for them. They have one over the laundry room. The mud room, I guess, is behind my office. And so that's where one of their checklists is. They know they have to get dressed and brush their teeth and pack their book bags. And they check it through the day. In fact, we just got them these little I call them a kid Fitbit, but it's not a Fitbit. It's a Garmin. And they can earn little points for each thing they do on their checklist. So they are responsible for that. And my job is to just keep them moving, sign the papers, make sure they have what they need and get them out the door. But it's a routine, right? So having these routines in place are really helpful because we're not stressed out all the time. We just know, like, everybody kind of knows the flow of our day to day. And it makes life a whole lot easier. The kids have designated snack times. They know that they can get a snack at 10 and they can get a snack at 3. So that way we're not running around like, what do you want for snack? Like, they have a little drawer with their snacks in it. So we do. Routines are big. We plan once a week. We do meal planning once a week. We keep our meals during the week very simple because if you have kids, life gets busy. So we kind of rotate probably the same 10 or 12 meals during the week that are really simple meals we can throw together pretty quickly. And we meal prep on Sundays. Jameson and I sit down together every Monday morning after he's dropped Mitchell off at preschool, and we go through the week's calendar together. Alex has this going on at school. Julie has this other thing going on over here. Who's going to do this pickup? Who wants to take them to that party? We plan that for the whole week, first thing in the morning, or first thing Monday morning. And that way we can both go into our week like, this is what needs to happen. So yes, I probably do. It probably sounds very structured to a lot of people. And somebody posted on Instagram not too long ago that listening to me share about how I organize like my calendar, and I did a whole series about my calendar. They were like, it kind of feels like when you look in somebody's really perfectly organized closet and you're just like, I can't touch anything. Like you kind of get that feeling of awe. I am not perfect. We have days where things are a little chaotic, but we find that the routines and the planning make a huge difference. I mean, just like it works in business, it works in your life. If you take Sundays to map out your week together and know what all the kids are up to, it helps. If you take, a day a week to meal prep and then you can throw together meals really fast, that definitely helps. Everything helps to make life run smoother. And the final thing I'll say, and then I'll get off my little soapbox around keeping the kid stuff flowing, is one thing we had to decide, especially this year, is we had to pull back on some of the kid-related activities. So I know you mamas understand this. Like, it feels like your kids are always coming home and this is going on at school and I want to join this team and so is doing this. I want to do this. And suddenly every kid is in multiple activities. And from the time they get off the bus until like 7:00 at night, you're just going. I knew that for my own self-care and my own energy, that was not an option. Last year, we actually got to the point where the twins each had 2 activities, and that meant 4 days of the week, we were kind of shuttling kids around, and I was just exhausted. I was really not getting any downtime, and I could tell for them, they're pretty young still, so I could tell for them they were exhausted. So this year we decided they could each have 1 activity at a time, and then, as they get older, we'll face it, as they get older, and they can be more self-sufficient and we aren't required to like be at the activity the whole time. But we just had to make that call, like limit the kids' activities, say no to some things. And I know that at this point, at 8 years old, I really don't think they're going to come back to me and be like, dang mom, I should have been on all those teams. It would have made all the difference in the world. I feel like it just causes too much stress for us as a family, and it's not worth it to have me and the kids and my husband all stressed out. So Heather on Instagram says, my friend had to pull back on that. She had to leave a sweater unfolded in her room to learn to relax about having everything done and in its place at all times for everyone. Like, yeah, I had to pull back on a lot of stuff. And For me, it's more important to kind of keep our nice routines going and keep it simple as possible. And that also means not adding too much, not overscheduling too much. And that's what I do in my business and what I do with my family. It just makes life a lot easier. And there's my husband with the coffee delivery. I tried to convince him to come on and do this Q&A with me, and he was very hesitant. He said he wasn't ready to do that. Okay, so let's see. Another question here from Racheal. Okay, Racheal asks, what is your best advice regarding marketing and specifically your website? What do you recommend having in place so people get to my website, and what to show on my website so my list finally starts to grow? It's so slow. I feel I'm all over the place, but it's not effective. I have a website, I have MailChimp, but still nothing seems to go effectively. I'm not doing anything consistently. Thanks. Okay, so Racheal, here's what I would say. If you are not seeing traction and you're not building that list, you're not building that database, then we need to go back into another piece of the marketing puzzle, which is the attract piece. So let's kind of reverse engineer this first. First thing I would say is, what is your pink spoon, that irresistible free offer? You said you have MailChimp in place, or MailChimp. Did I see that correctly? So you have something there for people to sign up for. I want you to go and look in your analytics. I think MailChimp has this set up. I know ConvertKit, when I log in, it'll tell me how effective that opt-in is converting. It'll give me a percentage there. So you might want to check that. I'm not actually sure if MailChimp has that or not, but if you have any way of finding out how effective it is conversion-wise, that would be great. So one thing you might want to do is look at your website and think about where you're sending all those people. Okay, so that's where a landing page is really, really helpful. And that is a dedicated page where the only thing they can do is sign up for your thing. So if you want an example, go to firedupandfocused.com. Firedupandfocused.com is my free 10-day challenge, productivity and planning challenge. And it is a landing page. There is nothing else you can do there but join the challenge. There is no navigation. There's no other place to go. So that's one thing, like having one direction for people to go, one option for them, that will increase your conversions. The other thing is this a good enough opt-in? So you want to check that conversion percentage. We know on our landing pages, we convert anywhere from like 50% to 60% on a dedicated landing page for something like the Fired Up and Focused Challenge. If I have, just to compare, if I have like just an opt-in, like at the bottom of a blog post for Fired Up and Focused, that opt-in might not convert at 50%. It more likely will convert at something like, I don't know, 5 or 10%. So that's something you have to look at. You know, different opt-ins perform differently. So you might have to double check and see how effective it is, because if it's not effective, you could send all the traffic in the world to it and you're still not going to get the results you're looking for. So you do want to figure out how effective it is. Then we want to go back a step. So remember, attract, engage, nurture, invite, delight. Attract, engage, nurture, invite, delight. Like I just say it over and over and over again to people, because if you're not getting traffic, that means there's not enough attract marketing happening. So what does that mean? It means you need to get out in front of more people. And there's lots of ways you can do this. I mean, this is a lot of what we talk about inside of Sweet Spot Strategy. If you aren't getting out in front of enough people, you will never build an email list. Like it takes getting in front of a lot of people in order to build a customer database, in order to build, a database of people to market your business to. So what are some ways you can do that? Well, we can go organic with it first, which is usually what I recommend for a lot of people. There's good old school networking, getting out there and meeting people, getting out there and joining things in your local community, getting out there and speaking to your local community, going to events, attending different things. So networking, always a good go-to. Public speaking, one of my favorite things to do. I did a lot of it last fall. Speaking for my friend Amber McHugh's event at Implement Live, speaking at the Rebel Con here in Richmond, Virginia, all about lifestyle design for women entrepreneurs. I do a lot of public speaking, probably a few times a year. And that's a great one. Guest teaching for other people. That can be a great one. Guest post writing or guest blogging or guest contributing to, blogs or websites, or even if you go around your local town, like, does your town have a local magazine or a local newspaper or something where they're looking for writers, people to contribute content? Getting interviewed is another great attract strategy. Going out there and again, being interviewed for a print piece, getting interviewed for a podcast, getting interviewed for a video show. I love getting interviewed. For me, it's 1,000 times easier to get interviewed than to write something. So I tend to pitch myself for interviews all the time. In fact, my team has like a little weekly goal for how many things we're pitching me for, and then how many we land. Last like Q4 of 2017, we had a goal to get at least 12 interviews out there, and we surpassed it. We ended up with like 15 getting booked that we recorded and sent out there. So that was really big. And that's one of my favorite things. So those are a lot of free things you can do. You could also start venturing into paid advertising. Now, I rarely recommend jumping into paid advertising until you've really fine-tuned a lot of the rest of the process. It's the last thing you should do as an attract strategy, because again, if you're putting money behind it and your engage piece, your irresistible free offer, your pink spoon, your lead magnet, whatever you want to call it, if that's not converting and then you throw ad money at it, then you're going to be spending a whole lot more money than you need to. But if that is converting really well, then it makes sense to maybe go spend some money on it. So you might see our ads. You're probably seeing me a lot right now, because if you're watching this, we're probably retargeting you on Facebook and on Instagram. So you're probably seeing a lot of our ads right now. And we only do advertising to things we know are, going to move people through the attract, engage, nurture, invite, delight process. I hope that helps. So if any of those pieces of the puzzle still aren't working for you, it just means we need to go back and redesign your pink spoon. The final thing I'll say is make sure everything in your attract strategy is sending people to the pink spoon. So here's my example. Racheal, I don't know what your business is, but let's say, you are a health coach, okay? And there's a lot of things you can help people with. And you have a program that's all about getting rid of sugar, going sugar-free. Well, if your pink spoon is about something completely different than you're offering, and then you're out there talking about a million other things, like you're talking on one thing over here about getting better sleep, and you're talking on one thing over here about eating green, taking in more green smoothies and eating more salads, and you're just talking about too many different topics, like there needs to be continuity. There needs to be a cohesiveness to your overall marketing strategy. Because if you're talking about too many things, people get confused, and then they land on your page, your landing page to get your freebie, and they're like, well, that's not what she talked about. So make sure that it all works together. It should all be working together. That's what makes it a nice, big, holistic strategy. Okay. So glad my hubby went and got me some coffee. Will at the cat on Instagram says networking groups love guest speakers. Yes. I have to say, I think a lot of people discount how powerful working in your local community can be. Your local communities are powerful. They are so powerful, and you can get involved in your local community. Go find organizations in your local community. Go to a Chamber of Commerce event. Go start talking to people and find out, are there other groups related to what I do? And if there's not, maybe start one. If you don't find a group that seems to fit your needs, go start a group and get involved. Start joining things. Okay, lots of pieces in the puzzle. Racheal says her business is cultural diversity training for those doing business abroad. So you want to make sure that your pink spoon is super relevant to that offer, to what you do, and then make sure all of your attract marketing is directly aligned to that messaging. Okay, so identify the first problem people run into and design an irresistible free offer around that. Okay, that's the first step. And then you're going to get them through the finish line with whatever your paid offering is. Cool. I hope that helps. I love what you're doing. That's amazing. Beautiful. So I think I have time for another question. So if anybody has another question for me, just pop it in. We'll take it. I hope today's little Q&A was helpful for anybody who got a chance to ask. These questions are so great. If you want more of this, if you want more time with me, ability to just come and get some laser coaching on things that you're working through in your business, this is what I do each and every Thursday with my Sweet Spot strategists. And I've been doing weekly calls with them for well over a year and have barely missed any. Like, this is a big piece of how I take care of my strategists inside of Sweet Spot Strategy, is this regular coaching to make sure that they are getting their needs met and getting the support they need to implement these types of strategies that we're talking about, whether it's a marketing strategy or a sales strategy or customer experience strategy, or even just how to juggle it, how to make your business work for you in the context of you and your life. That's stuff that I love supporting people with. So if you didn't get a chance to check out the master classes I taught this week, 3 essential strategies to grow your business from 5 to 6 figures, make sure you go check it out. The replays are up. I would love you to check it out. You'll get a lot of great content, diving even deeper into that 5-part marketing framework, and talking more about what levers you can pull to start growing your business this year. And if you're curious about Sweet Spot Strategy, like I mentioned, we are opening it for the first live round I've taught in pretty much over 18 months. Enrollment ends February 1st. So if you know that you want to work with me this year and you want to get extra support during this live round, now is the time. Go check it out at yoursweetspotstrategy.com. I hope this served you. I can't wait to hear from you guys, and I hope to support more of you inside of Sweet Spot Strategy. Okay, I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you next week for our weekly Uncomplicate Your Business show. Take care.